What makes condoms have the warming and cooling effect?
What makes warming or cooling condoms have a warming or cooling effect? The science of novelty condoms. Cool. Let's do this.
Do they actually get hotter or colder, or do we just sense it as being hotter?
Right. Warming condoms burn, as is the third suggested Google. When I click on that. So while I'm quickly doing a search to get answers for people, I'll tell my fun story that in college I was in the Sexual Health and Violence Intervention and Prevention Club. How do they work? And one of our big event every year was called Project Condom. And we did a fashion show with all of the outfits made out of condoms. And so we worked with a condom brand who would literally send us tens of thousands of condoms in different colors that we would give out to various clubs and stuff that wanted to enter a dress or an outfit in this fashion show with condom clothing. And it was a super big deal. We got actual Project Runway contestants to be our judges, and it was super intense, but it was crazy fun. And if you Google my name, you still get me talking about a newspaper article of me talking about people wearing condoms as clothes. Let's try stimulating condom. How does it work? I just keep getting ads. What are the... Oh, God bless. Guys, this is really depressing, Googling this. Because most of it is just questions from people who don't understand how sex works. And that's very sad. I hope they're engaging in foot play instead of genital play. Because...
I found something where the cooling might be menthol based.
Oh, that would make sense. Okay, so we think that cooling condoms are with menthol, are coated in menthol?
It's somewhere in the lubricant.
Oh, a menthol-based lubricant. Okay.
Yeah, well, also I've seen it's the lubricant that causes the sensation.
Okay, so
we might actually get better luck researching just
warming and cooling lubricants.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not actually in the condom itself, in the latex. It's in the lubricant. How does stimulating lube work? Fantastic. Here we go. From Lubezilla. I wish I was making some of this stuff up, guys. I'm learning so much today. So usually there's some sort of, apparently, a peppermint extract, menthol, mint in the lube itself. Holy shit! Some condom manufacturers use capsaicin in their lubes, which is horrifying. So capsaicin is what makes chili peppers spicy and hot, and in fact, in a lot of studies on pain, the way that they study pain is by putting like lubricant, like, or not, sorry, not lubricant. Sorry. No, that's for a different study. No, they put like capsaicin or capsaicin if you are Canadian. And they use that to like induce pain in people. So, okay, I guess. Products made for vaginal use are often milder than products designed exclusively for men. Some lubricants use a vasodilator, so that vasodilators increase the diameter of blood vessels, and so increases the amount of blood you're getting to an area. So that's gonna, like, bringing more blood to the area is gonna cause an increase in sensitivity. They apparently often use something called L-arginine. However, do not use like these kinds of sensitivity condoms if you have herpes, because L-arginine is a vasodilator. It brings more blood to the area, and that can increase the risk of outbreak in people who have genital herpes. So do not use these if you have genital herpes. I am giving people really fun PSAs. All right. Oh, this is super fascinating. But why does breathing on it make it more pronounced? Why does breathing...
The warming ones are also based on, like, high concentrations of propylene glycol.
Propylene glycol? What is that?
Which is something that caused Fireball whiskey to be taken off the market.
Okay, so apparently propylene glycol caused Fireball whiskey to be taken off the market, and that is what is in some warming condoms. So,
yeah, the warming ones, I guess. That's one of the ways.
That's...
It's...
It has the honor of being named American Contact Dermatitis Society's Allergen of the Year for 2018. Propylene glycol.
Oh, and it's like an antifreeze.
Yeah, that's what I knew it from antifreeze, because that's what you always hear, because I watch a lot of, like, crime shows, and there's always, like, the mother who, like, poisoned her child with antifreeze, and it's propylene glycol poisoning. What? It keeps the skin from drying in alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Oh no, ethylene glycol is the one in antifreeze.
Yeah, I think you can use both. Because like propylene glycol is like an alternative.
In low toxicity, environmentally friendly antifreeze. Gotcha. I just got really excited because this Wikipedia page says a study by Corey Moreau, and I thought it said Connie Moreau, which is like the name of one of my favorite characters in Mighty Ducks. And I was like, is this bitch? Which, interestingly, would only make my day because the guy who played Rocky in Three Ninjas has a PhD in psychology and studies anxiety. And just true story. And yeah, totally now, like, left acting is now an anxiety researcher. And no one else, whenever I reference this, I'm always like, Rocky loves Emily. Rocky loves. And no one appreciates it in academic circles. So there we go. So this isn't telling me how it works, but I would say that if you're looking at propylene glycol warming condoms, maybe don't. Can be pretty... it can be really aggravating to your skin and cause allergic reactions. But I was going to Google, why does breathing hurt? Well, because it's 2019, friend, and everything hurts. Why does breathing on warming lube work? I guess. Personal lubricant. Warming lubricant. Okay. Here's a Wikipedia page on warming lubricant. That was not helpful. Fuck you, Wikipedia. Give me my $20 back that I gave you for having sex with marijuana sex lubricants? What?
I could see CBD lubricant.
What? Banish cold genitals with a $249 lube warmer? Guys, I'm just really not Googling the right stuff for this question. Okay, so I'm going to say that the reason that what's going on with warming and cooling condoms is that the lubrication that is on the condom contains some sort of chemical. In the cooling case, it's often menthol, spearmint, something like that. That is, but then we can have a fun adventure. How does menthol cool the skin? Awesome.
Drinking water after chewing gum is the worst.
Well, if you have sensitive teeth, yes, drinking water after.
Well, just it tastes super cold.
Okay, so these compounds are not actually changing the temperature of anything. So with menthol, what it's doing is that it so nerves work. They really rely on like calcium channels and potassium channels and sodium channels. And these things are critical for neurons to fire. So apparently menthol blocks the calcium current along the nerves responsible for detecting temperature, which are... Shit. I can't remember which fibers they are. They have a letter. A fibers, maybe? I don't fucking know. But they block the temperature... Basically, they block the calcium current of the temperature receptors. So the temperature receptors aren't firing. And because of that, like, your body interprets these not firing because they fire faster with increased heat. And so them not firing, your body interprets as cooling. So it's not actually making your skin cooler. It's making you feel like your skin is cooler by fucking with your neurons. Or in this case, like the receptors that signal to nerves. And that is tricking you into feeling like the area is cooler. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of horrifying that cooling condoms are actually blocking receptors in your dick. But keep using them if you like them, I guess. Maybe. How
Some people are big fans.
does capsaicin produce warming? Okay, and so this is actually capsaicin, which is one of the things that's used, one of the compounds that's used in warming lubes. And so what it's doing is actually the exact opposite. The capsaicin molecules themselves, dear Jesus. So the capsaicin molecules themselves are actually binding with those same temperature receptors. So cooling condoms, or cooling lubes, cooling condoms, and warming lubes, warming condoms are working through the same receptors in your dick, your clit, your ear, your elbow, I guess your foot, since we just talked about that. Wherever you're using them, however you're using them, they're working on the same receptors. Cooling ones are blocking those calcium receptors so that those heat sensing receptors don't detect anything, and your body interprets that as cooling. Capsaicin, on the other hand, I don't know why I say it in the Canadian way, like the British Canadian way, capsaicin, but capsaicin...
Isn't that how it is?
No, it's capsaicin.
I always hear it the other
In the
way.
U.S., it's capsaicin. Capsaicin.
I never hear it that way.
Yeah.
They're wrong.
I had to spend an entire summer once going to, like, a pain journal club.
Oh,
So I heard about capsaicin a lot. But what it's doing is the molecule in capsaicin molecules are actually the right shape to bind with or to activate these pain receptors. And so there are different kinds of pain receptors. You have pain receptors that are like heat oriented, and then some pain receptors that are like pressure or like whatever oriented. So there are two kinds of pain. There's heat pain, and then there's thermal pain, and then like this pressure pain. But capsaicin itself is just activating those heat sensing receptors, those heat sensing that then signal to your body that the temperature is going up. So on both ends, you're not actually doing anything to change both ends. God damn it. But you're not actually doing anything to change the temperature of the mentioned area. You are just perceiving it that way because the molecules in the lubricants that are applied to these condoms are telling your temperature receptors, are tricking your temperature receptors into thinking that the temperature is either going up or down. Science. And again, I really would recommend staying away from the propylene glycol ones. That just seems like a penis rash or vagina rash or ass rash waiting to happen. All right, so we are coming up on 2 hours that we have been here talking. I feel like that's good for our first go out. I'm feeling, unless anyone has any dying questions that they would love to get out, I will be doing this again in the future, probably next week. Trying to make it a thing. We'll work on coming up with some more stuff. I really do have that Isaac Newton and Leibniz hate fuck fan fiction waiting in the wings for a dramatic reading at some point with fact checking as we go. So stick around in the future for that. Stick around in the future for the discussion of whether we think mermaids would have anuses or cloacas. Stick around for the discussion of how platypi, nurse their young since they don't have nipples. Yeah, they don't have nipples. They just have like a bunch of really thick hair that
Oh yeah, they just excrete.
They just excrete mammary. Sorry, what did it call it? Areola secretions.
Yeah.
But it just secretes milk from their body onto their like thick pelts of like platypi boob fur, and then baby platypi lick it off. Anyway, the more you know. We're gonna be doing this again probably next week. I had a ton of fun. I actually really enjoyed this.
Follow and get notifications.
Yeah, follow Follow me. I think everybody who's still watching already does, but thank you guys for hanging out. Even if you just left it on in the background while you folded your laundry and did other things and weren't paying attention, it makes me feel good to see that number at the bottom. And we will be back at some point next week with more dirty science stories. Bye.